What did the Gemara say? You guys remember the Gemara?
The 3 cases.
Yes.
One guy gave the
okay, first of all, what's the mechayev of Mishloach Manos? Just factually, what's the mechayev?
2 manot.
2.
Whoa.
2. Who said cook?
Friends. You can eat them.
Oh, no, we don't got it either.
And no, it's
Mishloach Manos ish toreo. Shtei manos liish echad. 2 manos to 1 person.
Sending.
Okay. Well, okay, good. Okay. You're being medayik. I like that. Okay. So the Gemara, what's the Gemara's first case?
Meat.
Rabbi Yehuda Nasi sends what?
Basar and the wine.
Okay, basar and wine, right?
Says, good job, you fulfilled Mishloach Manot.
Very good. You did. He says.
Eat something.
He says you were mekayim Mishloach Manos yistoreo. Okay. What's the second case?
Cracked wheat and dates.
Good. So he sends cracked wheat and dates.
Very good.
What? Right. Okay. So cracked wheat and dates. Very good. Okay. And now what was sent back to him?
Pepper and ginger.
And what is his reaction to that?
This is crap.
He's like, you got the mitzvah, whatever.
No, he says right. He says no. He says I sent you something sweet.
Oh,
He's saying that charif. Okay. And then finally the last case, which is that is your machlef suda sayo, which means what?
You
Exchange suda, right? That I give you suda and you give me suda. Okay.
Right.
So we're gonna take up that case a little bit more today about what the specifics are. But for now, what question do we have on that? That appears to be what?
You can't do it because it's bundling.
It sounds like it's bundling. Mitzvos chavilos, right? It sounds like you're being yotzei both Mishloach Manos and suda together.
So we counter that with saying that.
Oh, well, let's get as far as in a second. Okay, hold on. So that's the first thing. What's the question you asked in the stories?
When we had a question and answer with the Rosh.
Why do we need all 3 of these?
I brought up the thing that it's part of the aspect of the thing. I forgot to mention the machlef. Not like the packaging.
How does a Rambam have the chova? So he says Ketzad chova suda zu sheyochel basar bitakin suda na'ak v'yeshetim ziyado v'shos yainat shishtaker v'yodam meshichrus v'chein chayev adam l'shloach shtei manos shel basar o shel mini tafshil o shel shnei mini ochlin chavero shneimar mishloach manos yisrael shtei manos liish echad v'chol amar b'lishloach l'reim meshubach v'imein lo machlef im chavero zeh sholech l'zeh sudaso zeh sholech l'zeh sudaso k'dei l'kayim mishloach manos yisrael. It's interesting. So the imein lo. So the implication from the Rambam is machlef sudasa lechatchila or b'diavad?
He says
it seems like
no. He says v'im lo. If you have.
I was trying to pull the opposite way.
Right. No. It sounds like v'im lo. Okay. So what was our general svara? What was our general svara for Mishloach Manot?
So like the two manos.
Right.
And the other is the re'ehu part.
Good. Okay. So what we want to say is like this. We want to say is that the only way to answer the Gemara, to explain why the Gemara has these 3 stories, right, is to say what? Say there's 2 components to the mitzvah Mishloach Manos. Mm-hmm. One is the object, the mana, the chefsa, right? And the other one is the maisa. And what does the maisa have to be? A maisa of?
Friendship.
Reyes, a friendship. Okay. So now let's before we get to Gemara's cases, let's take extreme cases. All right. For example, let's say I send someone something where let's see the allergy case. Okay. Let's say Ezra's allergic to peanuts, and you give him a big vat of peanut butter. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're yotzei insofar as the chefs is concerned, but you're lacking in reyes. And what would be the other end? Let's say I know you love clothing, so I buy you an outfit from a store. You want to name the store. I buy an outfit from the store, right? So I'm yotzei in terms of ma'aser reyes, it's beautiful, right? What am I lacking in? The chafsa. So now, why do these 3 cases in the Gemara work out so perfectly? What's the first case?
First case is both. Second case is
right. First case is the paradigm. You have both the best maisa and the best chafsa. Right. Second case is what?
Only
well, it's more
friendship than
right. Exactly.
It's still kind of okay
because
it's still okay. And the second and the last case is the weakest one. It's lacking in reyes. You still have the mana, but it's lacking in reyes. Okay, clear. Okay, and now what was the svara in machlef sudasa? What does it teach you about Mishloach Manos? Why is it not mitzvahs chavilos?
Because it's
part of the ideal Mishloach Manos is that it should be for the suda.
No, it's one mitzvah.
Well, it's not just for the suda; it's one mitzvah. Right? It's v'chein. It's part of the mitzvah suda. Okay. Okay. Classic Rambam. Okay, good. So now looking at the tour in Tafrei Shadi Hey, mitzvah, top source.
Mitzvah Mitzvah the Suda Purim. Tzarech sheishtacher ad shelo yadav ben Aror Haman lebarach Mardai.
Okay, so it's a mitzvah to be marbar in Yisudim Purim, and you must drink.
Yeah, you gotta drink until you don't know between what's Ar.
cursed Haman, and Baruch blessed Mordechai. We're taking this is the next sugya we're doing, not today. Tomorrow we're going to start the whole sugya of drinking on Purim. So let's get your Suda night. Lo Yatza. Okay, now skip to where he says the second last line. Sarach
Mishloach Manot Ish L'Rehu L'Pachut two Manot L'Adam Echad V'im Hachlif Sudaso Beshal Chaver Yatza.
Okay, good. So you're chayav to do what? You have to send two manos to one person, at least two manos to one person.
Exchanging thing.
Yatza. Okay. Again, it never sounds like a strong endorsement of Machlef Sudasa, but you're Yotze if you do it. Okay. Now take a look at the Beis Yosef.
V'im Hachlif Beshal Chaver Yatza. V'perik Kama. What?
Ron says, how do you understand Machlef Sudasa? It means that I couldn't afford to have both a Seuda and do Mishloach Manos. So what did I do? I exchanged with you. In other words, let's say you and I are both poor. Okay? So what happens? So you can't afford to do Seuda and Mishloach Manos. I can't afford to do Seuda and Mishloach Manos. So what do? We exchange. Okay? So how does Iran learn the case of Machlef Sudasa?
So it's not.
Not a trick question. How does he learn the case? It's a case where he had no choice. Right? It's not the ideal. I have no choice but to exchange Suda. Okay, now what does Rashi hold? Keep going. Rashi learns what? Rashi learns that what's Machlef Sudasa? It's very funny how he puts it. He says, I invite David over to my house, okay, to have my Suda with me. Okay, and next year...
What's Uvishnia mean?
What?
Me.
Uvishnia. And next year, the second year, right, I go eat by your house, okay? So that's what he holds Machlef Sudasa is. Okay, now what's the question? Before you look at the Beis Yosef, what question would you ask on that? Okay, so David's right. So the question seems to be, is that how is this Mishloach Manos? I mean, you're just eating at my house, right? So look at the Beis Yosef. The Kasha Li'al Dvarav, right? He's bothered by this.
Right.
It's like David Cohen wrote to Beis Yosef, right?
Right.
That he's saying clearly that how are you Yotze Mishloach Manos if you just come over my house and eat my food?
Why not?
Vim Tomar.
What's wrong with it?
Let's just finish the Beis Yosef. Vim Tomar Shayu. And if you say no, that Machlef Sudasa means that they both exchanged meals, but it turns out that they separately did Mishloach Manos, right? Then what's the point of bringing? Why did the Gemara bring in Machlef Sudasa, right? So what's the problem in Rashi? The problem in Rashi is that how are you Yotze Mishloach Manos just by simply inviting you over and enjoying my Suda? Okay. You gotta be careful. I make a big meal. You come over and enjoy the meal with me. And Rashi holds you Yotze Mishloach Manos with that. But the Ran holds that no. The Ran holds you would be Yotze. And what's Machlef Sudasa? We have no choice. We have no choice. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So David. I assume that's what you were going to say, though, right? Where's the Maisa? Where's the Maisa Mishloach Manos?
There's no Shaleh.
There's no shlichos. There's no Maisa of. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. The Beis Yosef's kasha is that how is it that he's implying you need shiluach mamish. You need an actual maisa of shlichus, some action. So therefore, if I'm eating by my friend's house, I'm not yotze. Okay, so he says ein zo kusha. Mikol makom ein zo kusha. There's no way there's a kasha. Why? He's saying that. Just translate it. He's saying that when it says mishloach, it doesn't really mean. What does lav dafka mean?
It's not exact.
It doesn't mean mishloach as a maisa. It means even a case where you eat with your friends. Okay. So what's the machlokas? Actually, machlokas is what's mishloach. Is it mishloach mamish or lab dafka? What's the conceptual idea? Yeah, what's really the machlokas? What's really going on? Okay, this is a good first step. Good. So Ezra's saying that
forget how you have any.
Right. So
you don't own this food. The other guy owns the food. So I forget how you fulfill anything.
So hold on. So the first step is that's good. So you guys are saying it's a question of shlichus. So do you say there's an actual ma'isa you have to do? Right, but as you're saying, who cares about the Maisa? At the end of the day, is the guy getting a meal?
But
okay?
I think something has to go from my possession to his possession, and it was always in his possession. I never gave him anything. Ezra invited me over to his house. Right?
Whose food is it?
Ezra's food.
Right. So, and are you eating Ezra's food?
I'm eating his food.
Right. So now, once you take the food, it's become your food. It's not bioless. It's not bioless.
But I'm not sending him anything.
This is the case of Mishloach Manos here is operating in what context?
This is one you can't send.
I'm happy you're okay with it.
This is one you can't actually go.
More than that, though, what's the context? You're doing what? You're inviting him over for your what?
What?
You're inviting him over for your what?
For my Suda.
Suda. And what does the Rambam say? V'chein, right?
So it's one thing. It's one myself.
So meaning what? It's an extension of your what?
Of my
Suda.
Of your Suda. In other words, the idea of Mishloach Manos is what? Is to take your Suda, and
give it
Extend it,
also.
right? Include someone else in the
That's the whole
Suda.
idea. This whole when I come over this year and then you come over next year was so that we both end up with the mitzvah.
No, so what would probably happen was if you came over to my house, right? So let's say you brought with you some food also and gave it to me, right? The key case is the fact that it's the sharing of the meal as somehow being Mishloach Manot.
A lot of people
But
do
that makes sense according to the Rambam because that's simply an extension of your Suda,
So you
right?
wouldn't even have to give Mishloach Manos except for that?
Well, you have given Mishloach Manos. That's the whole point.
I mean,
Mishloach Manos is the very extension of the Suda to the other person is Mishloach Manos.
So we're saying that, and that it's not.
Shiluach Mamish.
Well, what are the other?
Right. No, but then, so then we're saying. Then what are they talking about? They say Mahachli Sudaso when they're saying like you can't do that thing.
No, we
What do you mean?
we thought it was bundling, but it's not because it's one mitzvah.
Right. It's not chavilos because it's one mitzvah. It's a mitzvah. It's an extension of the mitzvah Suda. But you see why it fits into what we're saying. In other words, there was a question. When you say you have to do a Ma'aser Reis, that's really the question. You have to do a Ma'aser Reis. So what's a Ma'aser Reis? So is Ma'aser Reis actually Shiluach Mamish? Or as long as I'm extending my student to include someone else, it's Mishloach Manos, it's a Ma'aser Reis. From a different perspective. In Mishloach Manos, you're providing a Suda for someone, right? So you say that you have to actually differentiate from your Suda. In other words, you have to give someone a Suda.
Make more food for you to set up more.
But it's still, all you're doing, but it's a quantitative thing. You're just building off your Suda. You know what I mean? Oh, so that's one side. That's one side. Okay?
So one's saying that Ma'aser Reis would have to be you going out of your way for something, like not
Separating out from your Suda. Like an actual separate Maisa. Okay? An actual separate Maisa.
Why is that more raised? What does that show? That you care about it more?
No, it's sewer to the Maisa now. You have an actual action.
Oh, then this is not an action.
Right, this is just you come over to my house. I just made more food. You know what I mean? I'm making more food. That's not a separate action.
What's the case where you have?
How many you can deduce in the Shulchan Aruch now? Chayav l'shloach l'chavero and sif dalin.
Chayav l'shloach l'chavero, shtei manos basar.
So shtei manos basar. So what's the first thing you deduce from the?
Ideal is meat.
Interesting. Well, if you didn't go on, what you would think is the only way to be yotzei is through meat.
Oh.
Okay, good. Oh.
Shal minei olchem. So
this is what's so funny. So what's so funny with the Mechaber, the Rambam is also funny like this, but what's so funny is that they say you're chayav to send 2 pieces of meat or 2 foods. Does that mean 2 foods are worse than 2 pieces of meat?
Mm-hmm. It means like there's a mahadran sort of, you know?
I guess so, right. Something along the lines of that. Okay, Shnei Mar Mishloach Manot Yisrael. Okay. Shtei Manos Yishecha.
Okay, v'chol hamar v'l'shalach l're'im Meshovach.
Good. Now, here's if the more you give, the more praiseworthy you are. Now, the reason why I'm bringing the Shulchan Aruch in, another reason why I want to show you guys. Look at this is critical. The Beis Yosef and the Mechaber are the same person. Remember the Beis Yosef's kasha, right? What was his kasha? His kasha is that Machla Sudasa, right, cannot mean what?
I mean shloach.
It can't mean what?
Shloach manos.
It can't. No. Right. Meaning. No. What does that mean? Though? What was the case of Machla Sudasa according to the? He didn't like the case of who? Of Rashi or the Ran? He didn't like Rashi. Right. He says, how can you Machla Sudasa if you just come over my house? How's that Mishloach Manos? So therefore, look at how he words in the Mechaber. Right. He says.
Ve'im ein lo machlef im chavero.
Ve'im ein lo machlef im chavero. Meaning, what's the case of machlef?
If you can't.
If you can't. Okay. Zeh sholech lezeh sudaso. Zeh sholech lezeh sudaso. Kedei l'kayim mishloach manot yisrael. What must you do?
This guy goes to that guy for Suda?
No, that's not what he says. Zeh
you sent for this guy.
Sholeach lazeh. You have to do a Maisa Shlichus, right? You see how it's subtle, but you see how the Beis Yosef transfers his position into the Shulchan Aruch. He's saying that you must do a Maisa Shlichus. You must actually send the food. Okay? Keep going. Good. Now, hey God. Now, what does Ramah say? Okay, that's an important halacha. You send Mishloach Manot during the day. Okay.
Well, that's because you're supposed to eat the Suda.
That's right. You see, it's linked to Suda. Yatsa. What does that mean?
And he doesn't accept it.
You're still Yotzei. So if you send to David, and David says, I don't want these Mishloach Manos, you're still Yotzei. Why? Based on
someone forgiving you, be like, nah, it's alright, I don't need it.
Doesn't matter. Why? Why you Yotzei?
You still did the thing.
You did the Maisa Reis. You did the Maisa. Just because the guy doesn't want it doesn't mean you're lacking in your Maisa. Okay? Oh, stop. Okay, we don't care about the issue stuff. Okay, now take a look at this Taz. Now we're getting into some more specific things. Okay? Taz. This is Mine Oakland. Stop. So what can't you send?
You can't send clothing or other things.
Other things, right?
Anything except anything.
Right. It has to be food. Okay. Ushasiya b'chal chila. Why does he mention that?
Okay.
Shasiya is included.
I think that it says meat or manos, so it's not drink. So
Right.
It says including
So it includes drink as well. Good. Next. The Pri Megadim.
Who's that?
Another, what do you call it? Another akron.
Okay, Mine Ochlem, Ayin Taz, Mumashna Lechora Bashar
Basar
Chai Rashay.
What does that mean?
Chai means like live?
So what kind of meat are we talking about?
Like
Raw.
Raw.
Alright, so now why would you think raw meat would be a problem and why would you think it's not a problem?
Well, because
Apply our svara.
I think it's because it's kind of it's part of the aspect of the Suda, so it's supposed to be able to be eaten at the Suda.
Okay, so what's it lacking in? The chefsa or the maisareas?
It's just working now towards
That's one possibility. One possibility is that.
Then you might not even
Reyes.
consider it as a manos.
So you want to see reyes. That's one possibility is lacking reyes.
It's either it's not food or it's not reyes.
Right, so you can go both ways. The question is, it's certainly lacking. The question is it lacking the maisareas because now the guy has to cook it?
Or it's because it's not food.
Or is it not even defined as food because it's not edible? Okay? Pri Chadash.
Chaim lo yishlach. Ha shechotin chaim yishlach.
So he argues. Oh yeah, he agrees.
Yeah.
He's saying you can't send over a live animal. Everyone agrees you can't send over a keves. Because is a keves food? If I send you over a lamb, a live lamb, I walk him over your house. Is that ochel? No, so it's definitely lacking in the chafsa.
Right.
But it has to at least be shechted. Okay? Because at least when it's shechted,
So that's the point.
Could make
according to this side.
Consider a manos.
Right, that's according to this side. Now, go look at the Mishnah Berurah.
The isha chayavas v'chulei.
I should skip that one. I don't even want to put that one in. That's some different issue. Okay. Now take a look at the Aruch Shulchan. Nearly.
Okay. The baza.
The bazeh.
Bazeh eno divich.
Die. So let's say, okay, so I'm a clever guy. So what do I say to myself? You know what? I'm going to send you Mishloach Manos, right? What are the normal shiurim to be yotzei things in halacha? Right, so I'll send you over a meat, right? And then you review some wine, right? I'm a clever guy. I'm going to give you over like a piece of salami about yay big, right? And a little bit of wine like that.
No, stingy.
So he says, this is amazing what he says. He says, if you did that, right?
Okay, Tizahu Lashon
Manos, right? Ki'inyan. This should ring a bell, Ezra.
Okay.
So when you send someone something on Purim, you can't send over like a little bit of something. It should be something on the level of more than that. Chatichu l'schabe, which is like something, a really good piece of meat, something really valuable. Right, you love filet mignon. Shehei davar what?
Like stomach filling?
The filling also. But this is shehei davar chashuv, which would be something important, right? Gidei chovasan. Interesting. So if I send over like your obligation. Let's say I send over like little pieces of something. You'll be yotzei. Okay, you'll be yotzei. V'chol marbe b'shluach manos harizem meshubach. Okay, why? D'zeu lahar b'rasa simcha. Okay. Let's say he doesn't have the financial means to send important things. And it's all he have left, all he can afford is his own suda. So he holds like the Ran. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so what's interesting about that is that he's adding the point of you can't be cheap about this stuff. You can't be cheap. Okay. Now take a look at the next page. Okay. One more shita. Okay, Chacham Ovadia. Okay, so what does Chacham Ovadia hold? This is cool. Two interesting halachas. Just shows you how even today how this stuff applies. Hasholeach
monos rehu, but
ilum shem.
What's that mean?
What do you think that means? Anonymously, according to Chacham Ovadia, if I send Mishloach Manos to someone and my name is not on it, anonymously, okay?
Ilum means hidden?
Yeah. She'ein hamakabel. So the receiver doesn't know who sent him Mishloach Manos. Lo yasa. V'lachein. So that's the first halacha. Okay.
What about for Matanos Le'avioni?
But it's right. You should not leave Mishloach Manos at someone's doorstep.
Really?
Yeah. You should try to get them to makabel it. You know what I mean? Especially because what if they're not home? What if they never get it?
Once you're Mekayim your mitzvah, then you can leave it.
I mean, for sure. Yes.
You don't have to do it once, right?
You only do it one person. That's it.
Right, so then you do it. Okay, good.
Look at the other halacha Yosef brings down. Umisha sholeach manos is a great one. Umisha sholeach manos lechaver shehu sfardi basar kasher, meaning eno glat chalak kedas marana beit Yosef. So what does that mean? So let's say David has a friend, right? And you send them, what do you call it? Mahadran meat or Ramanutz, right? You're not Yotzei. That's wild. Why?
Kind of like what we were talking
It's
about.
not food to them.
That's right, exactly.
And it's not raised.
Right, besides, so right, it's
like yogurt.
it is food,
It's like giving yogurt.
but it's lacking in. It's like giving what?
As their yogurt.
Exactly, and there's this lacking in Maisareas because what are you doing? You're giving someone something that you know they can't eat.
Wait, but you're saying lo yatsa?
Right, you're not
We're
Yotzei.
saying before you are yatsa.
No, if I gave you yogurt, I wouldn't be Yotzei.
Oh, okay, fine.
Same thing here.
I have to be able to at least eat it, even if it's a
Yeah, how's it a Maisareas if you can't eat it?
Alright.
Right?
Okay.
So that's Mishloach Manot.
Right.
But it all goes back to our original svara, which is that Maisareas on chafsa of ocha, right?